Hey guys, Dib the Yasim here to give you another Monster Legends guides. We're talking about monsters' moves, their rune sets, their partners, all that jazz. Today we are looking at Voltaik, yeah. So if you ever watched my channel before, or watched any of my streams or any of my videos, you guys probably know right now I actually hate this thing. This is my least favorite monster in the series. It just is of Monster Legends. My least favorite monster. It's considered the play the box kind of character. It's pretty much like Blitzcrank from League of Legends. It's pretty much like Akuma from Street Fighter. It's just the box monster of Monster Legends. It is so easy to win a game with this monster. It's ridiculously easy. It literally only requires it usually only requires just a single turn because it gets multiple turns in that one turn. Uh, I'll kind of explain why he's so broken. I'm not gonna really explain much. I'm only gonna explain four moves because it's the only four moves you should ever run on this guy. In all honesty, so four moves you should only ever run on this thing, because it's AI. This monster is AI idiot proof, and it's again four. I'm only gonna talk about four moves because it's the only four moves that only matter. Uh, so power is 3,355. This is a pretty low power, but I mean, like it's an okay, I will say it's an okay power. It's not that low, but it's an okay power. Uh, but it's not too high. Uh, it's not. I mean, it's an alright power for like most team, like fighting against most team. But if you're fighting a tanky team, this guy actually has trouble with tank teams. Uh, so it's good with dealing with mostly everything in the game. Just acknowledge that this power deals with mostly everything in the game. It's an alright power. His life is 24,429. This is actually a pretty low power, and people like complain all about all the time. It's like, oh, this thing has low life power. This thing's not worth using. This guy's pretty much an exception to all like those kind of complainers or something like that. Whenever like an attacker is brought up, honestly, if an attacker has low hit points, people don't even consider it good. But they cancel it all out. They can't. This guy's an exception. People cancel stuff out. And stuff like that for this monster because obviously he only needs a turn in do anything. That's why he's an exception. So his speed is actually 3,465. This actually outpaced quite a few monsters in terms of attackers. This guy can outrun attackers pretty much. Uh, and yeah, this speed is kind of troubling. I'm not gonna lie. But if you have like a monster near the speed, there's a few attackers that near the speed. If your speed rune is higher, or like they don't even put a speed rune on this on their Voltic, then there's possible chance you can actually deal with this thing. Uh, there is a chance you can deal with it. I mean, like your attacker can deal with it. Very few attackers can actually deal with Voltic. Just very few. I'm probably just gonna name one in this video, but yeah. There is a monster that can counter this thing, depending on your opponent's rune setup for this thing. Most often, like it's usually a 2 stamina and a strength rune, or I think it's like a speed. I think I actually see more with a speed rune. But all you need to know is a few attack monsters can counter this thing. A few monsters can go before this thing. Just very few though. Uh, 10 volts. This deals very heavy special damage to all enemies. Uh, this is his ultimate. Obviously, it requires no cooldown or stamina. And I will say, people probably get this move more often than not. Basically, because of like how like often like ultimates work and stuff like that. It's like a 50% chance. I think in PvP. I think that was the case, or maybe like 25% in PvP. I can't remember what the percentages were, but yeah, it's either 50% or 25%, and this thing's capable of probably getting it pretty much every time you play a game with it. It's not that hard to get its ultimate, I believe. And more often than not, the Voltic players just use this to clear any remaining monsters if they're out of stamina and there's just nothing left. They usually use this move. Uh, Moving on. So I'm only gonna talk about four moves here because it's the only four moves you should only ever run on this thing. Just for AI idiot proof monster. It's again king of AI idiot proof. Electromagnet assault. Gives an extra turn. And all honestly, the damage, even though it's low damage, the damage doesn't matter all that much because it gets a lot of turns in. This move is pretty spam. I'm not gonna lie, this move is pretty spammable. Uh, this move right here, 20,000 volts, deals moderate thunder damage, gains 1 extra turn, requires cooldown. Stack shots, deals moderate thunder damage to one target and residue damage to the rest, gives 1 extra turn, requires cooldown. 50k volts, this deals heavy thunder damage and gains 1 extra turn, requires cooldown. As you can see, this guy gets the move whenever he wants. It's just his thing. He gets to move whenever and however he wants. That's kind of why he's actually that's actually why he's beyond broken. This guy isn't a fair monster. Just to let you guys know, he's really easy to win games. There's no difficulty at all winning games with this monster. There's literally no difficulty at all. As long as your setup's right and you actually get a move, you're all good, because again, you're fighting. You're as long as your setup is good. Again, one turn. That's all you need is a good setup, and you just need 1 turn. That's all you literally need to win. And that's because he's pretty much taken the move order. He's pretty much like, even though it doesn't show it on the board, he basically fills in like 7 or 8 slots depending on your combination, or you could probably do more than that. Depending on your, I don't know if there's like a specific combo with Voltaik players that Voltaik players like to do. I think they use like maybe 50. I think they only use 50k volts when they absolutely need to get rid of something. I think they rarely use 50k volts. I think they just stick with 20k volts or something like that. Like better cycling and stamina. But basically, all you know, this guy is he pretty much will kill anything that doesn't have a life rune on it. This guy just cleans up things that aren't tanky. He just effortlessly moves them off the field. He really doesn't care about monsters that aren't tanky. And he's, again, really easy to win. Not too difficult of a monster. Rune sets, 2 stamina and a strength. A lot of people like to put like a speed rune instead of a strength rune. I think that actually hurts your damage output, and might actually be a bad idea with monsters nowadays. There are a few things that counter this thing. A few things are like tanking. Tanking is one of them. Like things that like have naturally high hit points, this guy can't deal with. Honestly, this guy wants things dead. Usually in the first or second turn, he is out there. He does not like tank fights. That's the one thing like Voltaik does not like is tank fights or stamina drainers. I just said 2 things, so I'll just say 2 things: tank fights and stamina drainers. This guy hates both of those things. If he has no stamina, then he can't do like his mass amount because his damage comes over time, and he gets that time with his extra moves. If his stamina is taken away from him, he can't do his he can't do his thing. If you don't have something that gives stamina regain, regain and stuff like that on him, he can't do he honestly can't do his thing. He can't be left alone to do his thing because he doesn't have stamina regeneration. If you don't give something, obviously if your setup doesn't give like regen, then this guy can't do his thing. In tank fights, I will say, if your monsters can tank like the beating, and like immediately get rid of Voltaik, then your monsters aren't gonna have too much of a problem. It again depends on setup and stuff like that, but more often than not, you'll actually die from this thing. Players will easily kill your AI monsters with this thing. Again, it's not too hard to win with this monster. It's really not. Mostly just depends on the situation and stuff like that. And more often than not, Voltaik players go on top with this. Another thing this guy actually struggles with is like this thing has to have 2 stamina runes. It's a must-have thing on Voltaik. This guy needs extra turns in, so that leaves only space for 1 strength rune, and mostly people usually put like level 6 or like. I usually see if the common players are just walking around with a level 5 rune. That's not too much, and you can actually deal with that. That's actually dealable. In the sense that one of the very few monsters that counter this thing is actually Totem. I kid you not, Totem is actually a really good example. Because a lot of you guys probably think this isn't a good counter to Voltaik, but it's actually a fairly decent one. So what Totem actually does, he actually reduces the maximum amount of stamina a monster has and power and stuff like that. So it takes away his usability and stamina. I've had it at times where it actually reduces, at least reduces the maximum stamina to that point. And that actually hurts Voltaik's like killability and stuff like that. He actually doesn't kill. Like every time I use totem, I use like the power thing. He doesn't do enough. He doesn't do any. He doesn't do enough damage, and he actually doesn't get enough turn. He doesn't get enough turns in to actually do like even normal damage or the damage he actually does. Because the damage reductions there, it's just that. I have played quite a few games when I had to deal with a Voltaik, and I have used totem, and more often than not, I've actually survived a Voltaik onslaught. So this guy is I will say this guy is somewhat beatable. Another thing this guy actually struggles with is earth attackers. This guy does not like earth attackers like Osteoclast. Again, depending on your setup, like if the enemy Osteoclast is actually running a speed rune, there's a chance this thing might actually die. If you if you are not running the speed rune, I have seen some people actually just run a speed rune on it. But more often, if the like enemy Osteoclast has like the extra guy build, you're not gonna have a good time because you're not gonna be able to. You might not be able to burst down Osteoclast if their life rune is high, and if his speed, again, if he has like decent speed rune, you're not gonna have a good time with that. You're not gonna have a good time with anything. I will say Atum's pet actually kills this. Atum's pet will probably not have any problem killing this thing. If you have the better speed rune, or if your Atum's pet's the only thing running a speed rune, and the enemy Voltaik isn't. Again, it depends on the situation, the rune setup, but Atum's pet actually can kill this thing. If it has the better speed rune, it will actually kill Voltaik. Again, not many people use that monster, but that's another good example of a monster that can deal with Voltaik. There are a few things that can deal with. This guy isn't like 100%. There are very few things that actually can kill this thing. Again, I know I'm repeating the same thing over and over again, but I'm just getting out there that this guy can be beatable, but more often than not, he actually wins. There just are very few things that beat him. And he can actually some people, and it's actually easy to deal with the things that can kill him. Just restrain and stuff like that. But there are a few things that can get around Voltaik. What should I actually? I don't think I see. I guess I haven't talked about partners yet. I think I'll talk about partners, and that's about wrapping up this video. So basically, for partners, in all honesty, this guy can run on his own, so as long as he gets a turn in. So just put monsters on your team that let him get his turn in, because that's all he needs is a turn. That's all he literally needs. He usually needs a turn or two, and that's usually it. I will say, if you have a stamina, like the buffer's a stamina regen, I will say General Invarv is your guy. If you have General Invarv on your team, it's just so stupid. I would see that combination in Team Wars. If it's a light electric war, I see that combination a lot. It's just a really powerful combination, because with General Invar, like, he can, stamina, give stamina regen. So Voltaik could actually use 50 bolts quite a few times if you wanted to, or get away with using it a few times. It's just really easy stuff. Your denier can literally, I think the best deniers for him are either like things that, like, are ranked up Thedes, or it's just stamina drainers in general, just because of that absolute deny. I think that's pretty much it. If you were expecting me to really rage in this video, I was putting it aside. It's more so a competitive look on it. I'm not putting personal feelings aside. Just straight up talking about it. Is this monster great? Yes, people will actually argue it's the best monster in the game. In most cases, it is, because it breaks the logic of the game. He's the logic breaker of Monster Legends. Is it easy to win with this guy? Yes. Is this guy one of the best competitive monsters right now at the moment? Yeah, he is. I imagine it's really easy to get 3 coins in a thunder, like any war with a thunder monster. I bet it's insanely easy to win. I kid you not. I bet it's insanely easy to win. I bet there's really no struggle at all winning in a thunder war. In fact, I actually didn't even mention this. Since this guy is so good, a lot of people just disregard all the other thunder monsters in the game. That's how broken his kit is. That's how people love this people idolize this monster. This is the COD monster. And they disregard all the other thunder monsters. They say, if you don't, just use Xylo or Voltaik. That's the only 2 thunder monsters you should ever use. I don't like that. I really don't like that logic. I hate it. But yeah, this guy is, again, AI 80 proof, a good defender on Team Wars. Some say probably not good defender on Team War. Some say don't. Some say that it isn't the best thing on defense. Others say it is. I think it's. I would think it would be great. But yeah, if you're running, I think nowadays though with like Monster Device running around, I don't think this guy is too great on the might not be too great on the defense anymore. It'll still kill like the people that don't know much about it. But again, uh, most broken monster in the game. Yes, he's really broken. He's beyond broken. Uh, is he not beatable? He's actually, yeah, I will say he is beatable if you actually run the right sets. If if your runes are good, you can kill this thing. If you're prepared for it. Most people actually do prepare for this thing. It's just a really hard monster to deal with, and that stuff. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Voltaik. If you wanted me to do a guide, just request it in the comments below. I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.